since 1977. And the Titans are on the sideline, and the crowd, a very early arriving crowd tonight. It's a very cold night, 45 degrees. The kickoff expected at, the temperature expected at kickoff, and it could get down to around 40 degrees before the end of the night. And Jen, you talked to the Woodham Titan coaching staff, and they with the power style football, and Brandon, although they are physical, is basically a finesse type of football team. And the Woodham coaching staff thinks a cold night is to their advantage. But Coach Larry Bass and Brandon felt that perhaps a cold night with Woodham running the triple option and having to handle the ball as many as 3 times on each play, perhaps the cold weather would help him. Maybe Woodham would turn the football over.
Dan, of course, I know nothing whatsoever about Brandon. I know very little about the team as a whole, but I do know some psychology. Evaluation of the 2 football teams after they arrived at the stadium this afternoon and early evening is an indication Woodham would play better football. I'm basing that solely on the fact that Brandon has a much stronger physical team than Woodham, just evaluating the players physically. But as the 2 teams warmed up here in Titan Stadium, there seemed to me to be a much stronger desire in the eyes of the Woodham players to win a football game. Brandon was kind of lackadaisical, not really fired up. But I have seen teams of that caliber play great football after the whistle blew to start the game.
Woodham won the toss and elected to defer their choice to the second half, which means they will be receiving the kickoff in the second half. And so they will be kicking. The Woodham Titans decked out in their blue jerseys. Brandon in the white jerseys with the purple or maroon trim. And the crowd is on its feet for the opening kickoff. Eric Fritz has it teed up on the 40. Standing deep for Brandon, number 24, is Chuck Mosley. Number 2 is Johnny Hopkins, and this one will come down to Hopkins, and he lets it sail over his head and into the end zone. A mix-up. They try to get the ball. Brandon Eagles want 24 Mosley to return the kick, and Hopkins watched him and let the ball sail over his head. So Brandon will take over, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Let's set the Brandon offense for you. That offensive line to center, David Dworek, 63, Jim Brown and Gerald Nelson are the guards. The tackles, Darren Singleton and Scott Ball, who is a 265-pounder. Wide receivers, Barry Hudson. Bobby Boatwright, the wide receiver, is an excellent receiver. Kirkpatrick is that all-star tight end. We'll set the backs right after this play. Mike Grant at quarterback, and he gives the ball to his tailback. And Johnny Hopkins gets out across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. There's Hopkins, number 2. He is a junior running back, just 5'6", 150 pounds. Hopkins, the tailback. The quarterback is Mike Grant, and the fullback is 21, Andre Wright.
Dan, I'd like to point out something for me right now. I believe that the offensive problem because they had to bring a safety in and put him out on the right end. They had 1 linebacker for the year.
They're lining up with the second tight end. It's Harper, 86, on the left side, so this is not something Woodham expected, 2 tight ends. And stopping short of the first down, Bill Bradley, 42, hit Hopkins after about a yard, pickup to the 28. Let's set that Woodham defense as we are, with the cold weather, we're having some technical problems, and Jet's already lost his mic, so he goes to the handheld. John Kizziah, defensive end, actually playing sort of a stand-up tackle. Eddie Boyd, the nose guard, and Edward Williams as a tackle, along with Bill Bradley. Linebackers, O'Daniel and Brewer. Bonelli is not starting tonight. Keith Smith, who is playing with a bad knee, injured his knee last week, and he's in there, 54, instead of Bonelli. They give it to Hopkins, trying to get outside, and he's dangerous, but not this time, as the Titans throw for a loss back at the 22. And a flag goes down after the play. So the referee throwing a flag on the pileup, and if this is a late hit on the Titans, it's going to give Brandon a first down. And Anthony Thompson, the defensive back for Woodham, is waving the punt return team off the field. So I believe the flag is going to go against the Titans, and it's going to keep this drive alive. Anthony Thompson and Tony Thompson will be starting at one corner tonight. Willie Blakenship and Shannon Adams are the 2 Titan captains, and they are the safeties.
Well, you see, Coach Sharp very upset about that kind of thing because Don Sharp doesn't play that kind of football. He's very upset because that happened.
Not to mention the fact you've made a good defensive play to corral a very, very dangerous running back, and then the penalty cost you. So the 15-yard penalty moves it out to the 33, and it's first down. Wright and Hopkins are the running backs.
They're going to throw the ball, I believe.
That's Kirkpatrick in motion, and they pitch it instead to Hopkins in that direction. Hopkins is hit and knocked down at about the 44-yard line, so he picks up about 6 yards on first down.
Brennan gives several different offensive sets, offensive formations, offensive looks, which makes your linebackers and your secondary adjust. The tight end is the man to watch. They throw to the tight end, number 34.
He is their possession receiver, as we mentioned in the pregame, Kirkpatrick, 6'2", 220 pounds, and he is lined up about 5 yards split outside the right tackle on the right side. Boatwright is split out to the side on Anthony Thompson. And they give it instead to Hopkins, and he's hit behind the line, but falls Corvey up the first down.
The thing about this drive, Dan, is it's giving Brandon good field position, so if they have to punt, it puts Woodham back deep in the hole, and what Coach Sharp was wanting, hold on that first series, don't allow them to get a first down, make them kick the ball from inside their 30, where Woodham would get good field position to start with. That has gone by the pass. It's gone now.
Third down and 1, and speaking of pass, we haven't seen Brandon do it yet, and they don't figure to throw here either. 3rd and 1 from the 47. Back to throw across the middle, and it's picked off by Bradley. Bradley to the 45. Bradley run out of bounds at the Brandon 41-yard line. Bill Bradley. Bradley dropping off from his defensive end position, dropping off into the coverage on the tight end, and he comes up with a big turnover. First down from the 41. The Titans with the first break of the game. Dickens is the quarterback. Will set the offense for you right after this play.
Dan, they're not worried about the pass. One defensive back, all the rest are linebackers.
They give the ball to Caesar Jones, and running behind the right side of that offensive line, Jones gets to the 38, maybe the 37-yard line. All right, let's set the Woodham offense for you. Chris Bromley is the center. The guards, Buck Paulchek and Bob Pickering, Vince Sparks, and Rick Faoro are the tackles. Greg George, the starting tackle, is out with an injury, and that's why Paulchek is starting at guard, and Faoro has moved over to the other tackle. Rest of the offense right after this play. It'll be a second down and about 6. Hackett, tight end, lines up on the left side. That's Salsberry in motion. They give it straight ahead to the fullback, Jones, and he gets inside the 35 to about the 33. Stacy Cannon on the stop. He'll be a couple of yards short of the first down. The rest of that Titan offense, the receivers, the ends are Lance Sasser, 89, and Robert Hackett, number 80. And Dickens, the quarterback. Salsberry's in the backfield along with Jason Hawkins. They now line up on the double wing, and Caesar Jones is the remaining fullback. Third down and a long 2. Inside to Jones. No, Dickens capes. Dickens, first down. Dickens inside the 20. Dickens all the way to the 16-yard line before he's finally dragged down by Curtis Barrow.
Dan, Coach Don Sharp started out with the offense that I have always loved so much, loving the wishbone offense. He ran the ball to Caesar Jones, right up the middle right, right up the middle left, establishing that inside game, telling the opponent, we're going to run it straight at you and we're going to get 4 and 5 yards. Then he hits the corner for first down.
First down from the 15-yard line. This time they go to Salsberry, and he's not going to get out of the backfield, and the man who made the initial hit is the linebacker, 44, Scott Schlarbaum. That Brandon defense, Kirkpatrick and Stacy Cannon, 15 of the 2 defensive ends, they are excellent. Inside the tackles, Otis Boyd, 67. He's their best defensive lineman. Andre Mack, 74. And the nose guard tonight is Curtis Barrow. The linebackers, Scott Schlarbaum, who just made the last tackle. And the other one will be Todd Perry, number 51. He's filling in for David Schlarbaum, who went out last week with an injury, and that was a big defensive loss for Brandon. Second down and about 11. Dickens keeps. Dickens pitches to Salsberry. He'll walk in. 16-yard touchdown run for Sherman Salsberry. He fumbled the football after he crossed the goal line, and that is Vince Dickens at his best. That man knows how to run the option better than any quarterback Don Sharp's ever had.
Dan, I think the thing that made the play go so well was a fake by the fullback up inside, and he rode him right in there and then came to the corner with it.
And Eric Fritz tacks on the extra point. He's only missed one in his last 6 games. And with 6:43 to go in the first quarter, the Titans have drawn first blood. It's 7-0.
I think the Woodham offense looked exceptionally well on that first drive, getting the ball around the 50-yard line or midfield, giving the ball to Caesar Jones inside.
It'll give you a chance to take a look at that last play, Chet, and there you see Jones with the fake inside, and Dickens keeping the ball to the last moment. And Salsberry, yeah, I'm not sure he did have that ball when he crossed the goal line. That's awfully close from that look.
And I like the idea that Coach Sharp, he wanted to take that football and take it right straight to the Brandon team and show them, even though we're not as big and strong as you are, we can run the ball right at you. And they did it, then it hit the corner for a big gain.
This kick sails way over Mosley's head and into the end zone. So Fritz pumped up, and another possession for Brandon will start on the Eagles' 20-yard line.
Now, Dan, what Brandon has done best throughout the year is about 50% throwing and about 50% running. They had their passing game, I think, is what made their running game go. So I would suspect Brandon to come out now and see if they can throw the football. They flex that good tight end about 5 yards, which he's not right now, just to get him out.
And now he steps off the line. That's 34 Kirkpatrick, and he goes in motion. And they're going to pitch it that way, pitching it to Hopkins, trying to get outside, and Hopkins keeps his feet. Hopkins to midfield, and finally brought down by Willie Blakenship as he crosses midfield. That is the kind of thing Hopkins does so well, watching the films this week.
That was a beautiful.
He breaks so many tackles, you think you have him down, and he just keeps his feet. He has tremendous balance. He takes a hit right there. I believe that's Shannon Adams hitting him, and that would have knocked down 90% of the runners, but Hopkins keeps his feet and gets up to the Woodham 49-yard line, so a pickup on a play of 31 yards. Hopkins now at 48 yards on 5 carries tonight. Kirkpatrick in motion, and they pitch it to Hopkins again. Hopkins, big hole on the left side, and Hopkins only 156 pounds, and he was saying in a television interview in the Tampa area earlier this week, he became a starter midway through the season. And he said, since I've become a starter, there is not a defensive back, there's not a defensive player anywhere who can hurt me. I'm tougher than any defensive man I'll hit, or who will hit me. And, you know, you say something like that, you're going to take a few licks, but he's tough enough to take it. There are the officials for tonight's game. They are from the Mid-Florida Officials Association. Dick Van Auker's the referee. Ron Siders the umpire. Head linesman is Mike Reese. Butch Crawford the line judge. The back judge is Rich Watkins. Bill McCall staying nice and warm up in the press box as the clock operator.
And then their home station is Ocala, Gainesville. Now, Coach Thorsen called timeout. Went to Coach Sharp, told him we need to take timeout because they ran the pitch sweep to our left, picked up quite a few yards, and then came right back with the same motion, ran the pitch sweep to our right. So we have got to stop that. We have just got to stop it, so that's what they're trying to make some adjustments to do at this time. That's Coach Thorsen out in the middle of the field with the Woodham defensive team.
Mike Thorsen, who handles the outside linebackers and defensive ends, has a lot to do with the defensive game plan. Hopkins got 4 yards on first down. It's a second down and 6 from the Titan 45. 6:16 to go first quarter. Woodham leads it 7-0. And they sent Kirkpatrick in motion. They've run that way before. Now they run the other way. And Grant, he's dangerous as well. Pitches at the last moment. No, he didn't. He hung on to it. And he paid for it. He took a hit by Bo Abrams, number 23.
I don't think he made but about 2 yards. And then he had a big hole there It was a reverse pivot, misdirection type option, and it looked like it was going to work very good, but the Woodham defense recovered very well to get over there and stop him for about a 2-yard gain.
They will officially give him 3 on the play, and it's a 3rd down and a 4-yard situation. 3rd and 4 for Brandon at the Woodham 43. 2 tight ends. And there may have been motion. There is a flag on the play. Hopkins gets the first down. And Hopkins looked as though he was going to keep his feet, but he was knocked down by his own man, Scott Ball, but the flags are down, and they're going to bring this one back. Hopkins had the first down.
With definite motion, the tight end was moving off, and a back was moving at the same time while the ball was snapped, so that's illegal motion by the offense.
First penalty of the night against Brandon. 5-yard penalty. So that will back it up to the Woodham 48 and will set up a 3rd down and 9 situation for Brandon.
Which we would think would be a definite passing situation.
Mike Grant, the sophomore quarterback, 6'2", 178-pounder, thrown for 1,400 yards this year and 18 touchdowns. Quite a story. He's really taken charge of this Brandon offense, and next year, in fact, they're going to run an option type of offense. They didn't have time to install it this year, but they're going to run an option offense to take advantage of his abilities. He throws on the run extremely well, and is very effective. And he's back to throw, and he leaves it for the fullback. That's the play they scored on last week against Merritt Island, but not as successful this time. Over there, Eddie Boyd, along with Shannon Adams, and 42, Bill Bradley. So, making the stop 4 yards shy of the first down. 4th down from the 43.
That was good reading or keying by the defensive secondary. Woodham needs a timeout.
Woodham is taking its 2nd time out of the first half, and of course with this kind of field position at the 43-yard line, the Woodham 43, and it's a 7-0 ball game, you have to be thinking in terms of a fake punt. Brandon may be doing that. Kirkpatrick is the up back, and the man knows how to run with the football after he gets it, so it may have been that the Titans had not installed whatever defensive deployment they wanted to defend against the fake punt. 5:36 to go. Mike O'Leary now will go out and talk to the punt return team, and Tony Thompson comes in, and Bo Abrams comes to the sideline.
Then I'm going to point out some real superb alertness on the sideline of Woodham High School. There were 12 football players on the field. That would have been an automatic first down for Brandon when the ball snapped. Woodham noticed it, got timeout, and made the correction.
4th down and 4. Back to punt is Scott Schlarbaum. Averages 34.5 yards a punt. Sasser standing back at his 10-yard line. He gets this one away straight up in the air. And now the Titan blockers have to get away from the football. This ball's going to come down right at the line of scrimmage.
Right at the line of scrimmage, a very bad punt by Brandon. And Dan, I noticed something. The snapper for Brandon does not have a good zip on the football. I don't know if Woodham was able to pick that up in the films or not, but I look for Woodham to possibly block one before the night's over.
They take over 1st and 10 at their own 43-yard line. Dickens is the quarterback. And now taking off too soon is Jason Hawkins. So this drive will start with a 1st down and 15, 2nd penalty of the night against the Titans. Well, I'll tell you something. I didn't catch the number of the players snapping, but the linebacker who was hurt last week, David Schlauerbaum, the linebacker, excellent linebacker for Brandon, hurt his knee last week against Merritt Island. He's out tonight. He's on crutches on the sideline along the far sideline. He is also the snapper on punts and field goals, and so they have a substitute snapper in there, and that could be a factor. And the Titans, noticing that on the films, may try to take advantage of that tonight. Titans strong left. The tight end is Hackett over there, and Dickens is going to throw. Dickens throws deep for Sasser and overthrows him. Back on the coverage for Brandon was number 30, Brian Jamison.
Yeah, that was a good play, a real good play for Woodham, because Brandon is acting as if they do not believe Woodham is going to hurt them throwing the football, and all they're doing is just coming up there with all linebackers, one defensive back, and I think Woodham can throw the football on them if they continue to play their defensive secondary as close as they are. They have loosened them a little bit after that one pass.
Sasser is split to the left side, 2nd and 15 from the 38. Straight ahead to Jones, and there's nothing much there. So trying to keep the defense napping. You know, the Brandon defense is so aggressive, especially the defensive ends. 15, Stacy Cannon, and 34, Kirkpatrick, are so aggressive. They really pursue. And the Titans feel they may be able to take advantage of that by running some counters. And so they're hoping to break one of those, and apparently that was the situation there. 3rd down and about 13 after the 2-yard pickup by Jones, and Reifsnider's in the game at quarterback. Sasser split to the left side. Reifsnider under pressure, and he won't have a chance to get this pass off. He's sacked back at the 36, 37-yard line. In on the play, number 77 was Curtis Barrow. He's a 6'3", 253-pound senior. He's in the game at nose guard. Now, he's normally the backup nose guard. Todd Perry would start at nose guard, but Perry had to drop back to linebacker to replace Schlowerbaum, who was hurt last week. Hackett stays in a punt. Low driving kick. And it's going to take a Woodham bounce at the 30 to the 20, and now takes a Woodham turn. So they got a bounce and a turn, and it rolls dead at the 13-yard line. Effective punt. 46-yarder.
The Woodham offense on that last drive just did not have the zip that it had the first time that they had possession of the football. Of course, they received a penalty on 1st down, making it 1st and 15. Then they gave it to Jones up the middle, and he got there a little.
I was going to say, when you're trying to play ball control, then there's no secret about that. The Titan offensive game plan is to try to physically manhandle Brandon up front. Even though Brandon physically is a strong team, their techniques, they feel they may be able to take advantage of them. And Hopkins is going to get to the line of scrimmage and no more. And Keith Smith, 54, is in on the stop. And it's amazing that Smith is even in uniform tonight. He hurt his knee last week, badly injured knee, and they were all but writing him off early in the week. But with Smith, 54, he's a senior. 2 games left, hopefully, for the Titans. 2 games left in his career, and he decided he had nothing to lose. He's going to go out there and play. So he's playing on a badly injured knee.
Dan, I'm surprised at Brandon. They are throwing the ball on there one time, and they think they can run the corners outside on Woodham.
They give it again to Hopkins, and Hopkins makes a nice move at the line of scrimmage and gets out to about the 18-yard line. Eddie Boyd was there to stop him, along with Mike O'Daniel, and Shannon Adams came up. And Adams is holding his thumb. And remember, Adams is the man who had 2 badly sprained thumbs, and going into that pileup, he's holding his right hand again, and now he's shaking it. So 14, Shannon Adams, the free safety, is playing hurt.
That was a misdirection play, and it almost hurt Woodham. Woodham's going to have to stay at home with their linebackers, read and be sure that the ball has gone before they leave. This is a big down for both teams.
3rd down and a long 5. 2 receivers to the right side. That's Hudson and Boatwright. And a flag is down. Thrown by the referee, Dick Van Auker, in the backfield. So this is going to go against Brandon. It's a delay of game. So now that changes things a bit. Instead of a 3rd and about 5.5, it's going to be 3rd and about 11.
Okay, now Dan, this is an obvious passing down. They have them backed up. I don't know why Brandon has not thrown. We have 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the first quarter. They've attempted 1 pass. It was intercepted. 2 passes, 1 of them intercepted. And Dan, I believe that Brandon saw something in the films and said that their secondary and linebackers were so good. We'll see. This should be a passing down.
They send Mosley in motion. They try to get him one-on-one. They flip it out here. The other side to Boatwright, who tries to put a move on Adams, but Adams runs him out of bounds, and Keith Smith comes over to make sure he goes out of bounds, but he did get the 1st down. So Boatwright working one-on-one on Adams and picks up the 1st down by a yard.
Pick up the 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10 now. Ball is spotted about the 25-yard line of the Eagles. 1st down, Eagles.
1st down at the 25. Big offensive play by Grant. Completing the pass to Boatwright. Boatwright now splits out to the left side. 1:55 to go first quarter. Titans lead at 7-0. They give it this time to Mosley in the backfield, and Mosley keeps his feet and finally wrapped up and dropped by Anthony Thompson from the 28. And Thompson, I tell you, he made an alert play right there because it looked like the running back, Mosley, was going to go down on the play and kept his feet. And if Thompson had gone to sleep, Mosley could have run down the sideline. Mosley ducks in here. Now watch 27 Thompson come up, and he sees him and makes the play. Good play by the junior defensive back, Anthony Thompson. Pick up on the play of about 3. It'll be a 2nd down and 7. Grant turns it up. Grant's got a lot of room. Grant across the 45 to the 48-yard line before he's finally tripped up by Keith Smith, 54. So Grant picks up the first down. That's Brandon's 4th first down of the night. And this is the kind of offense they're going to run next year with the quarterback Grant. He's just a sophomore, and in Brandon's county, 9th grade players are in junior high school, so Brandon doesn't get these athletes until their sophomore year, so they did not get Grant until last August, and that's very difficult for a first-year quarterback to come in and establish himself, but he's doing very well. Hopkins over the top across midfield.
Dan, I noticed one thing on that last play. Woodham's linebackers were blocked. And I know that Coach Don Sharp and Coach Thorsen and the defensive staff here tell the linebackers, you cannot get blocked. Linebackers and defensive backs cannot afford to get blocked because that can be the one tackler that can save a touchdown. They are blocking. Brendan is coming off that line, getting to the Woodham linebackers, and that's how they've been able to move the football.
Kirkpatrick in motion. They run it the other way now. And Grant capes. And Bradley and Brewer combine on the stop, but not before Grant gets good yardage inside the 45 to just about the 43-yard line. So pick up on the play of 6. It'll be a 3rd down and about 2.
Coaches did not tell me anything that they picked up in film or what, Dan, but they certainly are showing to me that they believe that they can get on the outside, get around the outside of Woodham. Everything's going out there, Project.
That's the final play of the first quarter. So we head to the second quarter. Woodham leads it 7-0. We're back, heading into the second quarter of play. The Woodham Titans is leading the Brandon Eagles 7-0. Brandon facing a 3rd down and 2 from the Woodham 43-yard line, and they've had a minute during the break between quarters to talk about it. Right at the start of the second quarter, Brandon takes a timeout. The Eagles' first timeout. The Titans have taken 2 timeouts, by the way. So they still were not quite convinced they knew exactly what they wanted to run here. Here we're talking about the disadvantage Brandon has and teams in that county down. They're not getting athletes till their sophomore year. And when you have kids who are sophomores, and you're counting on them, and Grant is certainly in that mold, and even the backup quarterback, Steve White, both of them sophomores. They graduated 2 quarterbacks from last year's team, so they really had no experienced quarterbacks coming back. And it was a big question mark, and the reason they installed this kind of offense, a tailback-oriented offense, was because they weren't sure the quarterbacks were going to perform. But Grant has really filled the mold nicely.
Dan, I think there's some different ideas about that. Usually when they have the 9th grade in the junior high school, they have junior high programs. Choctawhatchee and Fort Walton Beach has always had that. I think it's better if they don't have them when they can play for their school in a junior high program.
3rd down and 2 from the 43. Hopkins, he loses the pitch, and Woodham has recovered. It's Mike O'Daniel.
There was really no reason for that fumble. The pitch was good. I guess some people say cold hand, but you don't have cold hands. It was pitched right, perfect, just perfect, right into his hands. His concentration was all for something.
Looking for the hole, no doubt. First down at midfield, and a flag is down, and either the Titans took too long.
Somebody may have lined up offside. I think it's an equipment problem with Woodham.
It's someone who's lined up in the neutral zone, so the encroachment penalty backs it up 5 yards. And once again, the Titans, in fact, the second consecutive possession, they start off with a 5-yard penalty.
They had Coach Sharp there, and Coach Sharp, he's such a fine football coach, and these little things that's happening, he just doesn't condone. He'll get them ironed out before halftime, though.
First and 15 from the 45. Dickens pitches at the last moment to Salsberry, trying to get a block, but nice defensive play by 32, Jimmy Trice, the senior strong safety. And he was one of the defensive standouts for Brandon, and he took on the block by Hawkins and made the play. Jimmy Trice, the senior strong safety, 6 feet, 190 pounds. He calls the defensive signals back there. And he made a big play right there.
Kirkpatrick played it just about as good as I've seen anybody. He just skidded across the line and rode right with him also. Played it excellent.
Second down at 16. Dickens keeps it, turns it up to the 48-yard line of Brandon. So nice pickup for Dickens. He gets 8 yards on the carry. And on third down, the Titans face a third down in about 8. 3rd and 8 from the 48. Woodham leads it 7-0. The Titans scored the first time they had the football. They took over on the Brandon 41 after a Bill Bradley interception. And Sherman Salsberry went in from 16 yards out for the touchdown. 3rd down and 8. That's Salsberry in motion. They give it to Hawkins the other way. Hawkins, first down. And a flag will go down, a late hit. They're going to throw a late hit flag on Scott Schlarbaum after the play. So the safety, Trice, had made the play, and then Schlarbaum piled on. See the play again. There's the counter we were talking about before. The defensive end coming so hard that they tried to go inside him. And check that. It was not Trice who made the defensive play. It was Wendell Schwabe, defensive back. So, 15-yard penalty. They'll tack that on, and it'll move it down to the 21-yard line.
That's what penalties can do for you. Penalties can keep you out of the state championship.
So the Titan drive remains alive. 10:07, second quarter. Titans lead 7-0. Tate is in the game at a running back. Ronald Tate, 34. Now that's Salsberry, who breaks off that straight C backfield. They give it to Tate. His first carry as Reifsnider was also the quarterback. And Tate gets to about the 17-yard line. Tate, who had a big game last week against Lake Mary.
If Woodham could have checked off then and gone to their right with their option, they could have walked in the end zone because they only had one man outside the defensive end. They were overshifted in the direction that Woodham ran the football.
Reifsnider, the quarterback. Sasser is split to the left side on 2nd and 7, and Reifsnider gives it to the fullback, Tate, and Tate is close to a first down. And Vince Dickens comes back in to spell Reifsnider, so shuttling the quarterbacks a little bit, and he does have the first down, I believe, on the 10-yard line. They do move the chains. 5th first down of the night for the Titans. Brandon has 4. The Titans are threatening at the 10-yard line. First down, I believe they could pick up the first down at about the 1-inch line. They send Hawkins in motion. Dickens gives it to the fullback, and running behind the right side of that line, Vince Sparks, 75, opening up a big hole.
By number 44 for the Eagles, Scott Schlarbaum.
Scott Schlarbaum again on the stop. You know, Brandon, we mentioned, is a physical type defensive team. Andre Mack, 74, defensive tackles, 226. Boyd is 231. Kirkpatrick, 219. Barrow, 253. But the style of play is a finesse type of defense, and there's a defensive mix-up in the secondary, and see if they take advantage of it. They run it straight ahead to Tate instead. And Tate gets to the 3, maybe the 2-yard line. But one thing the Titan coaches noticed is that a lot of the defensive linemen try to take the blocks on standing up. And Woodham's offensive line, if they can get leverage on you, they'll knock you, they'll blow you off the ball, and that's kind of what they're hoping they try to do tonight, is take the block on standing up, because the Titans feel they have a definite advantage if they want to play things that way. 3rd down from the 3. Caesar Jones is the remaining back, and that's Hawkins in motion. Dickens to Jones, and Jones does not get in.
He was giving that second, third effort, which I always love to see a football player do. He was clawing with his feet, and they were in the air.
4th down coming up, and the Titans will spend their last time out. First, they want to check the yardage. They want to check the yardage, and then they'll decide whether or not to kick the field goal or go for the touchdown.
It's a good solid 2 yards away.
Number 32, James Price for the Eagles.
Coach Don Sharp's going out to talk to his offensive football team. 4th down and about 2 yards.
2-yard line, about 4th down and about 2 yards to go for a first down.
Brandon came in tonight. We mentioned they had not appeared in the playoffs since 1977. They were district champions, lost in the first round to Oak Ridge. Before that, they've been in the playoffs in 1969. They went all the way to the state 2A finals before they lost to Tallahassee Leon. And Gene Cox, head coach of Leon, is here tonight watching this football game.
Yeah, he was up here in the booth with us earlier tonight before the game started, and our people downstairs ran that on the screen, and Gene saw it and kind of made him feel good.
4th down and 2 yards to go for the Woodham touchdown. If they get about 5 feet 11 inches, they can pick up the first down, and the Titans are going for it. On 4th down, Jones the remaining setback. Salsberry in motion, they'll run it that way. They give it to the fullback, and he did not get in. Big defensive stand by Brandon.
It's all right. They at least have Brandon backed up inside the 5-yard line, and I admire Coach Sharp for making that call, leading by 7 points, almost midway through the second quarter.
They will bring the chains into measure. We mentioned they could pick up the first down, and it might be close enough. So, about as big a measurement as you'll ever find in a football game with 7:42 to go in the first half. Not only from the standpoint of points and position in the game, but from the standpoint of emotion, because Brandon felt they had him stopped, and if Woodham gets the first down here, and they did not, so Brandon keeps it. But if the Titans had gotten 4 more cracks at it there and scored, that can really take the wind out of your sails. But Brandon holds big defensive series for Brandon.
Yeah, I'd like to point out something. The official on this side of the field, when Woodham didn't make it, he turned and started motioning first down, indicating that he might be a little glad.
Brandon starts from its own 1. In fact, Grant is standing in his end zone. And they give it to Hopkins. No, Grant keeps. Grant looking to throw. Adams is chasing. Bradley's chasing, and he gets good yardage out to about the 8 or 9 yard line.
I can see why he's such a good quarterback. He has quick feet. He has a good head on him. Not only can he throw the football and direct the football team, but he can hurt you running. He reminds me of Oklahoma's quarterback, which is one of the better challenges any defense can face.
Well, I tell you, the nice job defensively there by number 25, Ramon Mims, the Woodham defensive back, because he stayed with Boatwright, and I believe Grant wanted to throw that. Now, they can do whatever they want. Mosley's in the game at a tailback. second down and 2. And they pitch it to Mosley. Flag is down away from the ball, and Mosley's thrown for a loss back at the 7-yard line. Bo Abrams was in there.
Yeah, that's what that timeout with Coach Thorsen did earlier after they ran the sweep right and the sweep left, and he took timeout. He went out and talked to them and showed them how you have to stop that.
Dick Van Acker signaling holding against Brandon, and now the Titans face a situation, decision time. You take the 1-yard or 2-yard loss and set up a third down and about 4, or do you take the holding penalty? And you're going to go ahead and take the penalty, and it's not, of course, it's not the full 10 yards. It's just half the distance to the goal line. So
yeah, about 5 yards.
Move it back to the 4, inside the 4. So they take the penalty, second down, second and 7.5 yards to go. Second and 7. I don't know, Jed, you give 2 cracks at it. We saw that decision backfire against Tate. Remember, they gave the Tate Aggies 2 chances to pick up the first down, and they got it on second down. So you don't win 2 state championships making wrong decisions. And back to throw is Grant. He's going deep. He's got Boatwright wide open. He dropped the football. Mix up on the coverage. Anthony Thompson, 27, and Shannon Adams were supposed to be in the area, one of the 2. And they're both looking at each other, and I'm not sure if Thompson let him go too soon or if Adams just didn't get over. Thompson's the cornerback. And you can just see his helmet. There's Adams just getting over a little late. Now, I'm not sure if he was trying to recover Thompson's mistake or if that's the safety not getting over.
That was definitely his zone, his area. And he was just, he left a little bit late, Dan. He didn't read it quite quick enough. He's got to leave 2 steps quicker than that.
Now they will hang on a second as the Brandon Eagles will call a timeout. So I think Boatwright actually signaled that timeout because the linesman, Mike Reese, came in from the far side of the field. He called the timeout, so I believe Bobby Boatwright, 42, is the man who called it. And now the Brandon Eagles face a third down and 7 from their own 3-yard line.
Dan, Coach Newman, Coach Thorsen, Coach O'Leary, those guys really put their heart into coaching high school football. It's just it's educational to watch those gentlemen work during a football game. I've had my eyes on them several times throughout this series of down when Brandon took over on the 1-yard line. Just before Coach Thorsen went out then to talk to the players, he met with those 3 to talk to them to be sure that they were together on what he had to tell them.
And, of course, Max Sturdivant also in that group. He handles the inside linebackers. O'Leary handles the secondary.
You know why I missed him? He has on a gray cap. He looks like one of the players with a helmet on. I was just thinking of that when you said it. I was going to come back and talk about Coach Sturdivant, but he does have on a gray cap, and I mean, he'd like to be playing tonight.
Third and 7. They send Hopkins in motion to the left side, then look to the right side. And incomplete. The play is broken up. Nice play by Anthony Thompson, intended for Barry Hudson. Thompson timed his hit perfectly and broke the play up.
Beautiful timing. Beautiful reading the quarterback. Here's a replay on it. I want everybody to watch that defensive back come up. He looks like he's been playing about 4 years in the NFL. Look at that. Beautiful.
Illegal procedure against Brandon, and of course the Titans will decline this one because they're going to get the football.
Woodham's going to get the football with 6:38 to go in the first half in good field position.
You know, the Titan defense did exactly what it wanted it to do. After they missed the touchdown at the 1-yard line, they wanted the defense to hold Brandon without the first down so they could get another crack at it. With 6:38 to go, as you mentioned, they should take over in good field position. Looking for the block. They're not going to get it this time. Schlarbaum, who had a 0-yard punt last time, pulls this one out of bounds.
It's going to be inside the 30, Dan.
28-yard line.
28-yard line, they mark it. So another bad punt. This was 25 yards.
28-yard line.
Brandon is getting some very bad breaks. Their first punt went nowhere, not even a yard, I don't think. This one kicking from the end zone. He gets 28 yards and just gives a powerful Woodham offensive team too much advantage. Quarterback for Woodham.
Reifsnider will start at quarterback on this drive.
Full backfield for the Titans.
Hackett is the tight end on the left side. Hawkins gets the call, and Hawkins, just behind that offensive line surge, gets to about the 25. Pick up on the play of about 2 or 3 yards, and it'll be a second down and 7 with 6:16 to go. First half, and the Titans lead it 7-0.
Dan, I suppose that we'll have both bands performing at half. The Brendan band arrived at 25 minutes after 7, 5 minutes before kickoff.
Stage arrival. Reifsnider back to throw. He's got his man Sasser wide open. Touchdown! They keep pounding away inside, running that option, and then Reifsnider, who, of course, is really a throwing specialist. He throws the ball much better than he runs the option, and he comes in with a touchdown, and Fritz hooks this one off to the left, and I'm not sure if there's a bad place.
I think it was blocked, Dan. I believe somebody got their hands on it.
Well, the PAT is no good, and we'll see if that comes back to haunt the Titans, but they've taken a 13-0 lead with 5:52 to go in the first half.
Here's a beautiful pass reception, beautiful pass, good faking, and the reason I mentioned quarterback to you when Woodham got the football was because I believed that Woodham was going to throw the football.
You know the difference between the Titans now and the Titans in 1982, the state championship team, we've seen them over the last couple of years really become more diverse offensively. They've had the people who can do more things, and they are still a basic wishbone team, and that's the basic philosophy of the offense. But they have some athletes who are capable of doing some other things, and Sasser, who is a tremendous wide receiver, he's just a sophomore, very intelligent young man. He's a point guard on the basketball team, and that's Hopkins at the 13-yard line. Hopkins got some room outside, and Mike O'Daniel finally runs him down at the 39-yard line.
I'll have to give them credit. They do an excellent job bringing that kickoff back. That was good blocking. They didn't wait around. I hate to see people run east and west. Football fields are built north and south, and buddy, that Brandon football team goes north and south. Picked up a bunch of yards.
Brandon now will start at its own 39-yard line, trailing 13-0. 5:35 to go. Boatwright comes wide to the left side, way out here on Tony Thompson. Thompson has single coverage now. Adams cheats over to help out, and they give the ball to the fullback. And Wright's going to be wrapped up and dropped at the line of scrimmage, and the ball pops loose, but the play had long since been blown dead.
Again, I just almost wanted to say before that play was the fact that Woodham has forced Brandon to throw the football now. Leading 13-0 with 5 minutes to go in the first half, it's forcing them to throw. Then they come out and hand off to a straight dive back on the left side. I can't believe that they aren't throwing anymore or attempting to throw.
They'll give him a yard on the play. It's a second down and 9 from the 40. Hudson to the left side. He's got good speed, and Thompson's on him. Grant's back to throw. Kizziah gets containment. Adams makes the interception at the 30-yard line. He batted it around a couple times. Remember, Shannon Adams, number 14, is the man with the 2 badly sprained thumbs. They're feeling a little better right now. He dropped a couple of interceptions against Tate. He hung on to that one.
Dan, I'd like to point out something about a sophomore quarterback. Here's a replay. He goes back. He gets in trouble because of...
unsportsmanlike conduct.
Woodham called for unsportsmanlike conduct, and I'm not sure if anyone said anything, or maybe they had an extra player on the field. I'm not sure. But they're going to come over and explain it to Don Sharp.
Don Sharp wants to know what it is because he doesn't tolerate it. He's not going to tolerate it. He's going to get somebody in there for a guy that caused it. You watch that.
Inside the 20 to about the 15. So they'll take over now. First down.
Mike O'Daniel is the man who's being called for the unsportsmanlike conduct, and he's being chewed out by both Don Sharp and Mike Thorsen. So they're explaining it in no uncertain terms.
Dan, that's a young man down there. He's young, got a lot to learn, but they're doing the right thing by stressing to him the importance. That thing could cost Woodham the state championship.
4:27 to go in the half, and since it's a dead ball foul, post-possession foul, it's a first and 25. Salsberry gets out to the 19, a pickup of 4. And it will be a second down and about 21 yards to go. So the Titans now, instead of being able to really do something and try to drive for a third score, they really have to play it a little bit close to the vest. With a second down and half a mile to go. The last thing they want to do is turn the ball over at this end of the field, trying to get all of it back and allow Brandon a chance to get back in the half. Clock continuing to run, 3:49 first half. Salsberry in motion. Dickens keeps, now pitches to Salsberry. Salsberry to the 45, the 50. Salsberry.
The Woodham offense is very explosive. That was beautiful running, beautiful blocking downfield. We'll get a replay. I want everybody to really watch it because it's a team effort. The entire Woodham Titans are doing the job.
77-yard run for Sherman Salsberry puts the Titans in business once again. At the Brandon 4-yard line, 3:19 to go.
Inside the 5 on the 4-yard line of Eagle.
And Salsberry, remember this year, they moved him out to the slot back, wing back, wide receiver. He hasn't gotten a chance to touch the football as often as they like to get the football in his hands this year, but the last couple of weeks they moved him back into the backfield. Dickens keeps and goes down at the line of scrimmage. Flag goes down as well. And the man who made the play was 77 Curtis Faoro, the nose guard. The flag went down. It's going to be a defensive holding against Brandon. That's the signal that Vince Dickens calls. There's the perfect pitch by Dickens, and Salsberry turns on that 4.5 speed.
Good move there inside. Should have been tackled there. Now you go pick up some blockers out here. Look here. You have to be careful blocking downfield.
And actually the man downfield doing the blocking just shielded the two pursuers, and he bought him an extra 5 yards or so, and more importantly didn't get flagged for the penalty. Defensive holding moves it to the 2. It's a first down. Hawkins sets up just inside the tight end on the left side. Salsberry, and there's nothing there. At the bottom of that pile is Todd Perry. Now Perry, number 51, is a 156-pound nose guard. And he plays some at linebacker. In fact, he's been playing a lot of inside linebacker in David Schlauerbaum's place tonight. But Perry also a nose guard, and when they go to a 6-man front, as they do on occasion, or when they go to the goal line defense, as they have in there now, Perry will line up there right next to Faoro. And you got a 100-pound difference there, and it's Perry, the man who made the penetration on the last play. Second down, Hawkins, touchdown! 19-0. The Titans actually driving 85 yards in 4 plays. Technically, that drive started on the 30-yard line because that's where they intercepted the ball. And here you see Hawkins going over the top behind the right side of that line.
Good body lean going up and over.
And now the Titans going for 2. Remember, they missed the kick last time, and Salsberry's not going to get in. But the Titans lead at 19-0. They'll settle for that 19-0 lead.
Then we have 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the first half, and the Brendan band is getting down on the south end of the field, ready to perform. I want to point out one thing. I haven't had a chance to do it since the interception thrown by Brendan that gave Woodham the football. I think if you have a sophomore quarterback, I don't care what he put in the template paper or how cocky he seems to be, I believe that he has been held intact so much in this first half tonight that he has to have a down feeling about his ability to throw the football against this Woodham team. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure the coaches are going to come out throwing now with 2 minutes to go in the half. And I just believe that he's got to feel pretty down.
Fritz kick comes down to Boatwright. Boatwright trying to make it up the middle, and he gets out to about the 37, 38-yard line. The last drive for Brandon started at the 39. This one will start at the 37.
They run north and south on those kickoff returns.
You know, that's the last two possessions starting in the 39 and 37 is really a turn of the page for Brandon. Their first 4 possessions, they started on their own 20 twice, they started on their own 13, and they started on their own 1. So Brandon is just glad to have a little breathing room, and Grant's going to try to use it. He's going deep for Hudson, the speedster, and he's going to not make the catch, and he was way out of bounds anyway, and ran into the Brandon
He's got a good
marching
arm,
band. And I tell you, good coverage down here. Is that Ramon Mims or is that Bo Abrams? Bo Abrams, 23, not 25.
And he has a good arm. He kind of threw that ball off balance in and threw it real good. It was out of bounds. I'm talking about strength-wise. I look for Brandon to go strictly to throwing the football, being down 19-0 with 1:33 to go in the first half.
Brandon with 1 timeout remaining. Remember, they spent 1 right at the start of the second quarter. Right after the change of the quarters, they burned a timeout there. So they only have the 1 remaining. They also spent a second one. To Kirkpatrick and chased by Blakenship, and Blakenship had the good coverage. Willie Blakenship, number 32. And the incomplete pass stops the clock with 1:27 to go.
Kirkpatrick is having trouble getting open. I think the Woodham linebackers and secondary are doing an excellent job of covering him because he wasn't open then, and the quarterback threw the ball over his head. I didn't think very, very high over his head. He didn't make a whole lot of effort to go up and get it.
Kirkpatrick will line up as the tight end on the left side and Boatwright's to the right side. They usually go to the tight end in this situation. Grant. Plenty of time. And now he's got a lot of room in front of him. Grant. O'Daniel chasing. He got a crushing block from Kirkpatrick, and finally Grant is tackled inside the Woodham 40-yard line. Abrams made the stop at the 37. But Grant had just the whole field open up right in front of him.
Went out of bounds with stopping the clock at 1:13.
Here's Eddie Boyd, and once Boyd loses his moves to the left side, it left nobody in the middle. And watch the block from 34 Kirkpatrick, if you can see it. Right there, he absolutely leveled the defensive back, Blakenship. So the first down at the Titan 37. Brandon's in business, 1:13 to go, and they give it to Hopkins, big hole. And Hopkins, it closes in a hurry. And making the play was Jerome Dubose, number 62. And we haven't called his name since the Escambia game.
And the clock, pardon me, Dan, but the clock is beginning to become a factor.
DeBose was hurt in the second game of the year, and this is the first time we've seen him since then. He came back for the playoffs. Grant for Kirkpatrick and misses him. Kirkpatrick had a half step on Blakenship, but Grant couldn't complete the pass. 46 seconds to go. And it will be a third down in about 5. So Brandon has to think in terms of picking up the first down as well as gaining the yardage towards a score. 19-0, Woodham leads first half. Titans scored first time they had the ball. They marched 41 yards. Salsberry went in from 16 yards out for the touchdown. And with 5:52 to go in the second quarter, Sasser, a 25-yard touchdown pass from Reifsnider. Hawkins scored from a yard out. It's 19-0. Grant back to throw on 3rd and 5. Across the middle, he's got Boatwright, and Adams wraps him up, but Boatwright has the first down at the 19-yard line. And the first down will stop the clock while they move the chains. 37 seconds to go.
He throws a good pass, Dan. Guy has a good, strong arm.
And the Eagles take their final timeout. If you're thinking field goal, they are within field goal range of John Raymond. He can boot him from 45 to 47 yards, although they feel a little bit more comfortable about 10 yards closer, and that's just where they are right now. It would be a 36-yard field goal from here. They're not thinking field goal, of course, right now with 37 seconds to go and trailing by 19 points. You want to put the 6 on the board.
I've been a little bit surprised throughout the first half that Brandon hasn't been throwing the football more. I thought, well, they saw something in the film. They studied the defensive personnel of Woodham, and they figured that they cannot throw the football. And now, throwing the football, mixing the pass in with your running attack some really does loosen up the defense. The long run, but the quarterback dropping back, opening up in the middle. And they're down here challenging with 37 seconds to go in the first half.
Grant is 3 for 10 throwing the football tonight. He's completed 2 of his passes to Boatwright. Still hasn't hit the tight end. Boatwright with 27 catches coming into tonight's game. Kirkpatrick also had 27, but they haven't hit Kirkpatrick. Across the middle on the slant to Hudson. And he makes the catch at the 11-yard line, short of a first down, so that will not stop the clock. Abrams made the stop. So now they're going to have to hurry. They don't have any more timeouts. 22 seconds to go.
Ball boy better get off the field.
Grant rolling to the right side. He's looking for Boatwright now. He tucks it away, and he does get the first down at the 7-yard line, which will stop the clock with 10 seconds to go. Now they keep the clock rolling. The officials did not stop the clock. They say his knee went down at the 10-yard line, so he didn't get the first down in 1 second. No time left. They did not get the snap off, so that may be a sophomore quarterback as well. He tried to scramble to get the first down. If he had gotten it, it would have stopped the clock momentarily to move the chains. They may have had time for another play, but they had to throw the football with no timeouts left. Good first half for the Woodham Titans. They lead 19-0. We will be back with the halftime festivities. Both bands here tonight. We'll be back in a minute.
With their unflagging energy and unparalleled knack of winging it.
Please hurry over to the Four Seasons.
Four Seasons.
Four Seasons.
John Monteith and Suzanne Rand combined rehearsed skits and wild improvisations for a zany half hour of insanity. Don't miss Comedy with Monteith and Rand.
Wednesday night at 9:30 here on WSRE TV 23.
This is PBS for Northwest Florida, WSRE TV, Pensacola.
Halftime at Titan Stadium. It's been an impressive first half for the Woodham Titans. They lead the Brandon Eagles 19-0. Brandon, as many of you have already heard, brought quite a contingent up here from the Tampa area. Brandon is just a few miles east of Tampa. And they brought some people up here by plane, and those who couldn't make the plane came up on a bus. So they have a good crowd here. They also have their band, and they will be performing for you right now.
gentlemen, our head dancer is Christy Godfrey. Go ahead and Amy Wood. And other artist, Charlie Campbell. Our closing piece of Man and Girl is Love the World Away, cover soloist Tim Weaver.
Leaves the field to our right and making room for the blue tide of Titan pride. The marching band from Woodham High School.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Titans Night Squad have 15 seniors performing their last home game here tonight. I'd like to dedicate tonight's show to them and give them my sincere appreciation for all their hard work during their year. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Tide of Night Squad. Country, the Woodham High Titans, the Woodham High Fight Ball. Nominated for ourselves, and Scott Westbrook. We appreciate everybody's time and money here at home and together. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to both men for outstanding show here in halftime. We have some halftime scores. That's provided by WCOA Radio, 1370 on your AM dial. This is Don Priest at the microphone.
Okay. Halftime. Just about over. The Titans lead 19-0. They're back out on the field. We're still waiting for Brandon. And we will be back with the second half in just a minute.
It's Drayton and Manatee 13 from People Something.
Better watch out! For here's Buster!
Meet Buster, an impulsive fellow with a flair for magic, a keen sense of romance, and a talent for mischief.
May I borrow your wristwatch?
Buster's World on the next Wonderworks.
Monday night at 8 on WSRE TV 23.
Just about ready to start the second half. We've got the Titans out on the field. We have the officials back. The only thing we lack are the Brandon Eagles, who are a little bit late arriving. Although now they appear on the far end, and I guess they had a lot to talk about. The Titans lead 19-0. And it really is a remarkably even first half from a statistical standpoint. The Eagles ran off 167 yards in 30 plays total offense. They had 128 yards rushing, 39 more in the air, as Mike Grant was 4 for 11 throwing the football. The Titans picked up 163 yards on the ground, 77 of those on one carry by Sherman Salsberry. And the Titans had a total of 178 yards, so 178 to 167. A couple of big differences. Turnovers. Brandon has turned the ball over 3 times. A Bill Bradley interception the first time Brandon had the football. That led to a touchdown. A fumble, which the Titans did not convert. And then a third interception. This one by Shannon Adams, and the Titans took that one the length of the field and converted on a touchdown run by Jason Hawkins. So the Titans lead 19-0. Salsberry scoring from 16 yards out. Sasser, a 25-yard pass reception from Bill Reifsnider, and Hawkins that 1-yard run. And that's really been the difference in the football game. One other factor which tells a lot about the first half is field position. Brandon has started drives on its own 20, its own 20, its own 13, its own 1, its own 39, and its own 37-yard line. The Titans have started from the Brandon 41, the Titan 43, midfield, the Brandon 28, and from the Titan 15-yard line. So Woodham averages starting its drives at about midfield. Brandon averages starting on its own 20. And you give away 30 yards in field position at the start of every drive, and you're going to be in trouble.
Woodham, of course, has been able to put together a more varied offense, a more of a challenge to the defense of Brandon. Brendan, about the only thing that they've been able to really do consistently was get outside and run what we call the corners, run the outside. Now, the quarterback dropped back a couple of times and was able to run up the middle, but you can't count on that being consistent.
The Titans, you remember, won the toss to start the game. They deferred their choice to the second half, so they're receiving the second half kickoff. And we mentioned Brandon was late arriving, and they were nailed with a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So they'll kick off from their own 25, and the field position continues here in the second half. At Salsberry at the 20, 30, and at the 36-yard line, hustling down there to make the play on the special teams, Jim Brown, number 68. Jim Brown, who starts the game, and there's an injured Titan down on the field, and is Larry Brewer. But now he's going to run off the field under his own power. Mike Thorsen hustles out there to help him out. You know, it's really been an injury-racked season for the Titans. 24 players, and we're talking starters or second stringers, 24 players have missed at least one game for Woodham this year. Vince Dickens is the quarterback. The Titans take over 1st and 10 on their own 36-yard line. They lead 19-0. Salsberry in motion. Dickens gives it to the fullback, Jones, and he was met in the backfield, but falls forward to about the 37, maybe the 38-yard line. They give him to the 37, give him 1 yard. It'll be a 2nd down and 9. Stacy Cannon, number 15, in on the stop.
Second half, just on the way.
Jet, this is an it's more important a possession for Brandon to stop the Titans than it is for Woodham to score. Down 3 touchdowns, 19-0. Brandon has the explosive offense, but Woodham can really set the tempo for the second half if they can control the football and go down and score. As Caesar Jones, nice effort as he's met at the 40-yard line and powers out to the 44. So he will be a couple of yards short of the first down, and he got about 3 of those yards on his own. Perry, number 51, was in on the stop. 3rd down and 2.
If you notice, Coach Don Sharp always starts the opening kickoff of the ball game in the second half, if he has the ball, telling the people that we're going to run the ball inside with our fullback. We're going to establish the inside game. Then he pops you on the corner and hurts you.
3rd and 2. Hawkins in motion. Dickens keeps. A lot of room. Dickens. 45, 40. Dickens is hit by Kirkpatrick and dragged down at the Brandon 32-yard line.
Did just exactly what I was talking about. The first 2 plays, he gave the ball to Caesar Jones inside. Here's a replay. Beautiful run.
Look at the pursuit by Kirkpatrick. He comes from the defensive end position on the far side of the field. Chased Dickens down from behind. He chased him all across the field before he finally made the play. But not before Dickens had rambled down to the 32-yard line. They give it to Jones behind the right side of the line. He breaks loose. Caesar Jones dragged down at the 13. The man making the defensive play, Albert Hayes. But Caesar Jones running behind the right side of that line. And there is Brandon Eagle down in the field. Look at the right side of that line. They seal it off. Hackett, Vince Sparks, the right tackle. And 64, Buck Paulchek, the 5'11", 185-pound senior. And he is starting tonight because Greg George is out with an injury. And so Rick Faoro, who was the starting right guard, has moved back to the tackle position. And Paulchek, who started earlier in the year, he started after Shane Garrett went down with an injury and has played some. But Paulchek in the football game tonight, his first starting assignment in several weeks. And he's doing a great job. A lot of the big yardage that Woodham has gained tonight is behind the right side of that line. And, of course, you can look at it. The skeptic can look at it and say, well, Paulchek's behind Vince Sparks, a 255-pounder, and the All-America Bromley at center. But I tell you, you have a right guard in there who's not doing the job, and it doesn't matter what Sparks and Bromley do. You're not going to get much. And Paulchek's really doing a great job.
Dennis Gambier is winning at the half 38-21 over Auburndale. Juliet Springs is winning in the state championship game. Baker is winning in the state championship game. And Woodham is winning here. Panhandle is doing well on this Friday evening.
Player limping off the field. 56, don't have him on the roster. Titans at the 12-yard line. Dickens, the quarterback, misdirection to Salsberry. Runs out of one tackle, and Salsberry will score. Salsberry, a 12-yard run. That gives him 106 yards rushing tonight on 7 carries.
They're going for 2, Dan. Pardon me for interrupting you. They're going for 2.
Remember, the Titans kicked the extra point after their first touchdown, but they either missed. There's Salsberry. He runs out of the one tackle, and he's on his way. Titans leading 25-0, trying to add the 2 points. Dickens gives it to Jones, and he scores.
Jones is running like a horse in this second half. Hopping through those holes, second, third effort, jumping, twisting, turning, getting every inch he can. Looks good. Like some of those fine Jones brothers that played ahead of him at Pensacola High and Woodham.
Other scores in the area. We have a score in the Bradford Stark versus Barstow championship game, 38.
So the Titans drive 63 yards for the touchdown here at the start of the second half. Brandon, which needed a big defensive series and then had to follow that up with a good offensive series to get back in this football game, has done just the opposite. And with 9:35 to go, they have a tall order, and it's very quiet across the way.
Here comes the kickoff now.
Cold and quiet. Fritz, low line drive. It's going to be picked up at the 24-yard line. And out across the 30 to about the 32. Making that play was Jimmy Trice, number 32. You know, the Titans on their kickoff team don't want to kick the ball in the end zone. They like to kick it in the left-hand corner and get 11 bodies on the football. The man bringing it back.
I think Brandon runs kickoff back about as good as any team we've seen this year. They do an excellent job of kind of using a wedge, as we call it, going up the middle.
Which was the second thought. The Titans usually like to let the team run it back, but they've done such a good job that maybe they were just kicking that one short to keep from breaking it. Kirkpatrick in motion. Grant capes, slips, regains his footing, and gets out close to the 40-yard line before he's dragged down. 8 Titans in on the tackle. It was easier to count the bodies still standing up at the end of the play, and there were only 3 of them, and they were in the neighborhood.
They play inspired football. They play the togetherness type. As we look down on the sideline now, see the offensive line down there.
Joel Williams is the offensive line coach. And I guess he's about as good an offensive line coach as you're ever going to find in high school football.
Came over from Pace High School, worked under Robert Freeman over there. Did an excellent job, and I'm sure that Don Sharp is glad to have him a part of his program.
Second down and 3. Inside handoff to Andre Wright, and he gets out to the 45-yard line before Dubose brings him down. Jerome Dubose. Boy, he just must be thrilled to be back in the lineup because he went out in the second game of the season. He played against Escambia and was injured in the second game of the year and had to watch the Titans go through his senior season with him on the sideline. And making it to the playoffs gave him a lease on life, and he's making the most of it. First down at the 45. 27-0, the Titans lead. Brandon trying to get back in it with 7:52 to go in the third quarter. Grant capes. DeBose trips him up, and I think he might have gotten an assist from the offensive lineman on that side, who is Ricky Finger, number 70, the left tackle on the ground, and DeBose tripped up the quarterback, and if he was going to regain his feet when he tripped over his offensive tackle, he had no chance whatsoever. Gain of a couple, it will be a 2nd and 8.
Second down. High formation for the Eagles.
2 tight ends. Kirkpatrick now goes in motion. And they run the other way again. Adams giving chase to Grant, but Grant will outrun him. That's a mismatch. And Grant inside the 40 to about the 36-yard line.
Yeah, the Woodham defense is not going to be able to stunt through and trail him. They're going to have to slide up and down the line of scrimmage and stay in front of him because he's too quick. His feet are too quick to come through on a stunt and then trail him. We can't catch him.
Grant gains to the 37-yard line. 16-yard pickup for Grant. First down at the Titan 37. Brandon in dire need of a score here, and a quarterback draw fools no one. I believe the first man to put the hit on him, I believe, was Eddie Boyd. No, it's Joey Bonelli. Joey Bonelli, number 55, who has started at linebacker at times this year. Did not start tonight, but he will play as both a down lineman and as a linebacker. And he's the man who made the stop there. I thought it might be Eddie Boyd, because usually when you see someone stay at home and make an intelligent play in the middle of that line of scrimmage, pretty good chance it's Eddie Boyd. He's a steady defensive lineman as the Titans have. 2nd and 10. Hopkins, big hole on the right side, and Hopkins gets to the 29-yard line. He'll be short of the first down by a couple of yards, but Dubose was hanging on to make the stop, along with Keith Smith.
Boy, that was a wide. That was running off tackle wide. Grant just did get to him to get the football to him. And it was there. The hole was there.
But this drive is taking a lot of time. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Brandon looking for its first points, trailing by 27 points. Titans have been impressive. 3rd down and 2. To Hopkins. Hopkins tripped up behind the line. Dubose made him go outside. Then Adams and Brewer combined and knock him down. Anthony Thompson may also have been there. They throw him for the loss back to the 31. And it will be a 4th down and about 4. And Brandon's in a situation they have to go for it. Line of scrimmage is the Titan 31. Barry Hudson brings the play in from the sideline. I don't think there was ever a doubt that they were going to go for it. Boatwright's out of the game. Hudson brought the play in, so Boatwright goes out. Hudson's flanked out to the right side. Tight end is Todd Harper on the right side. Now Harper's in motion, and flags are down. They may have taken too much time.
I think he did.
Delay of game, 5-yard penalty. So now instead of a 4th and about 4, it'll be a 4th and 9. So a big penalty again against Brandon. 6th time Brandon's been flagged tonight.
I don't ever get to see Coach Porky Newman much here at Woodham High School. He's always teaching classes and coaching football, but I saw an old friend of his, Hugh Wilson, who coaches at Repton, Alabama, and played in the finals of the Alabama Championship, said, tell you hello, Porky.
4th and 9, and Grant loses the snap. Flags are down, and I'm not sure if that's going to be a live ball or not. The flags went down and the whistles were blowing, so it is a dead ball foul procedure against Brandon, and that's a break. Grant backed away from the center, and David Borek, the center, hadn't snapped the ball yet, so the Titans jumping on the football. Either we're going to get a recovered fumble or a 5-yard penalty, and the whistles had blown, so it's going to cost Brandon 5.
Brandon's kindly falling apart, man, and they took the opening kickoff. It looked like they were going to put together some offense, and then they began to make mistakes, and they're kind of falling apart now.
Now they will punt it. They had a 4th and 4. Took a 5-yard penalty. It was 4th and 9, and now another penalty, and it's 4th and 14, and that's too long. So from the 41-yard line, Schlarbaum will come on to punt it away. Flags are down at the line of scrimmage of Schlarbaum. Adams fields it at the 19-yard line. Almost bobbled the football, and that's why everyone's piled up there. Flags are down at the line of scrimmage. It's against Brandon, and I would suspect the Titans, after that 22-yard punt, would decline the penalty.
Then I want to ask you something. When I coached, you could not put a number in the offensive line unless it was a 50, 60, or 70. Number 23 snapped the front, snapped for the front team.
If you can on a scrimmage kick situation, at a punt formation, you can put someone on the line, I believe, in the interior line, and he can change his number, but he has to notify the referee, and he can never become an eligible receiver on that play. I believe that's the way the rule reads. So if you want to try a trick play and 23 comes off the bench and you want to throw to him, make him an eligible receiver, by dropping someone off the line. Can't do it. First down from the 19 for the Titans, and Hawkins hurdles at the line of scrimmage, gets a couple of yards, give him 3 out to the 22.
Stop made by number 25, Bobby Stevens for the Eagles. It's a second down.
Stevens, 25, is in on the stop.
3-yard pickup for Hawkins.
We haven't heard much from Stevens. He chased Salsberry down after a long game. Bobby Stevens, his second team all-conference, leads the team in interceptions, but with the Titans controlling the ball on the ground tonight, they've pretty much taken Stevens out of the game. Second down at 7. They give the ball to the fullback, Tate, and Tate has been at the line of scrimmage, and the linebacker filling quickly is Todd Perry, number 51, and he laid a good lick on Tate. He gave a little bit away there because Tate is a 180-pound junior and a hard-running fullback, and as we mentioned before, Perry only goes about 155 pounds. Hit him low and cut his feet out from under him. Third down and about 5. Call it 3rd and 4 from the 25. Sasser goes to the left side. He's got one-on-one coverage out there. And they go the misdirection to Salsberry, who tries to cut it back, and he will not pick up the first down. So Woodham will have to punt it tonight for the second time tonight. Scott Schlarbaum in on the stop. So fourth down, Titans will have to punt.
In professional football, I suppose anybody can play anywhere because the refrigerator with Chicago is, I think, number 75, and he plays in the offensive backfield. 72, okay?
Fourth down and a yard, and Hackett will punt for the second time. He got a 46-yarder off last time. Low driving kick will clear Boatwright. Boatwright picks it up on the 28. Bradley drags him down to the 29, so excellent coverage by the special teams for the Titans. 44-yard punt and a 2-yard return to the 30. You know, it's funny, last year we were talking about the special teams, and in the playoffs a year ago, Titans had all sorts of problems with the special teams. They had field goals, PATs blocked, punts blocked, they fumbled on kickoff returns, and after the season, I was talking to Coach Sharp. We were putting together a little recap of the playoff march, and I asked him who his special teams coach was. He said, we didn't have one. I said, you didn't have one, or nobody admitted it? Grant to the 37-yard line. He stood up and dropped right there, and this year we were talking about the special teams, and I think the defensive coaches kind of combined on that. Mike O'Leary was telling me a lot about the special teams, Mike Thorsen as well. So I think maybe they're going to admit it this year. Second down at 3 after the pickup of 7 yards by Grant. Grant has carried the ball 10 times tonight for 99 yards. Hopkins has 64 yards, so they have a pretty good double threat there, double team, but they're still scoreless. It's 27-0 with a minute and a half to go in the third quarter, and Brandon will call its first time out of the second half. So in a second down and 3.5 situation, line of scrimmage is the Brandon 37.
Brandon nothing.
That's a pretty good crowd across the way from Brandon to come that far from down in the Tampa area, I think it is.
Just east, it's 10 miles down the road from Tampa.
You were talking about you think they will own up to being a special teams coach this year, Dan. I tell you what, the Woodham fans and supporters can certainly be proud of this football team and this coaching staff. They opened the season losing to Escambia, and 2 weeks later they lost to Milford. And a lot of people could say, well, high school players, when they lose like that, it will turn out to be not a very successful year. But with Don Sharp and Mike Thorsen and Coach O'Leary and Corky Newman and these people, you don't have to worry about that. They are going to work and do their homework and do their job, and the people out here can always be proud of a Don Sharp coach football team.
Second down and about 3.5 yards to go. They give it inside to the fullback right. He runs out of Bradley's tackle, and finally Bo Abrams brings him down at midfield. So hard running by Wright gets the first down at midfield. You know, along that line, a lot of people were asking. The Titans were 1 and 2, and keep in mind, this is a team that, let's take a look at the play first, is see him running right out of the tackle at the 40, and then running very quickly after that. But a lot of people were asking, what's wrong with the Titans? They were 1 and 2, and you know, Don Sharp just sort of shrugged his shoulders and said, we lost to the number 2 ranked team in the nation, Escambia, and we lost to Milton. And they were both games they could have won. So there really was nothing wrong with them. Grant, all sorts of room to run. Grant, and Shannon Adams drags him down at the 24-yard line. Shannon Adams, number 14, the senior free safety. One of the co-captains makes a big play there. 27-yard pickup to the Woodham 23. Going out of bounds, Grant stopped the clock with 1 minute to go. Now they'll mark it back on the 25-yard line, so give him a pickup of 25.
Handoff to number 2, 24 rather, Mosley.
Gets a couple of yards. Kizziah stringing the play out. Keith Smith was there again.
Dan, back during the early part of the season when that happened, when Woodham was 1 win and 2 losses, people were asking me, people on the street were talking to me about it, and I said, I think Woodham will be in the state playoffs. I think they'll do well. I didn't expect Tate to come in and almost upset them like they almost did. But I'll pick up later after this play.
They give it to Wright again, and he's met and dropped in the backfield, and the man who hit him was 55, Joey Bonelli.
But I think this gives me the opportunity to say something that I've made some notes this afternoon. Woodham High School has an outstanding academic program, but they also have an outstanding extracurricular program, Dan.
And,
go ahead.
And they are also 12 minutes away from advancing to their second consecutive state championship game. That's the end of the third quarter. The Titans lead it 27-0.
Be on the lookout for the premiere episode of Treasure Houses of Britain. Visit magnificent country homes, centers of a life of power and privilege, wealth and cultural patronage. Join host John Julius Norwich for a look at how life was and is lived on these lavish estates. It's the premiere episode of Treasure Houses of Britain. Monday night at 9 on WSRE TV 23.
They've switched ends, third down and 10 for the Brandon Eagles at the Woodham 25-yard line, just inside the 25. 2 wide receivers to the right side. That's Tyner and Boatwright. Grant to the right side. He keeps it. Grant cuts it back inside, and Grant's going to score. I think we're watching Brandon's offensive 86. You know, they've really gone to the option when they had to. Once they fell behind and had to score some points in a hurry, we've been watching them run that option. And there you see Grant. Kizziah can't make the play. Adams gets turned around. He gets a good block downfield. And Grant, great athlete, goes in for the score from 25 yards out. That makes it 27-6. Raymond on to attempt the extra point. And it's good. So Raymond tacks on the extra point. It's 27-7. And we're just underway here in the fourth quarter.
That was the first offensive play in the fourth quarter when Grant scored the touchdown. And he is an outstanding athlete. He's a sophomore. And wherever Brandon is located, 10 miles south of Tampa, there will be a lot of air east of Tampa. There will be a lot of air traffic into Tampa 2 years from now when he's a senior. And I'll guarantee you that Oklahoma will be there a lot because he's their type quarterback, Dan.
Larry Bass, the head coach, and we want to thank Larry Bass and his entire staff who've been most helpful. And I tell you, you do a game like this, and a coach comes in from out of town, and it's a playoff game, and they're not sure if they can trust the announcers, but He did, and I can safely report that we did not betray his trust. As Tate picks it up on the 25, and Ronald Tate gets out across the 40-yard line to about the 41, before he's finally brought down by Greg Newton, number 80. But he's going to go ahead and install that option offense next year, and it's the type of thing they were really at a disadvantage. Had they had Grant as a freshman in school and they knew he could develop and they could help nurture him along, they might have been able to install that option offense this year, but instead they couldn't take the chance with a sophomore quarterback, an untested quarterback, and running a high-risk offense. But they'll be doing that next year. They have a lot of kids coming back next year, so they should be contenders once again. Dickens wisely tucks the ball away. That is a smart play. And at this juncture of the game with 11:19 to go in the fourth quarter and the Titans leading by 20, the last thing you want to do is turn it over. Dickens may have had the pitch man, but instead of risking the turnover, he went ahead and tucked it away.
He had the touchdown on the pitch if he'd have seen it. But he lowered his head and went into the outside defensive back instead.
This time he pitches to Salsberry, and Salsberry gets to the 45-yard line.
Then I was saying as the quarter ended about the spirit, the togetherness at Woodham High School, and as I was sitting in my office today and thinking about Woodham and the enthusiasm and everything here, I thought about what makes it. It comes from Fred Househalter, the principal, the leader here, the number one Titan, administrators, the office personnel, the faculty, and the students. They have it all right here at Woodham. Not just football, but everything.
Second down and 7, and getting an early start, the defensive lineman Stacy Cannon, and he's quick, but he's not that quick. Although he may be. I don't see a flag down anywhere. Well, referee Dick Van Auker and his crew are about to hear what it means to miss a call in the eyes of the Woodham boosters. I don't know. I'd like to see that again. Do we have that re-racked pitch or not? I don't know, but it sure looked like Cannon. He got a great start out of the blocks, and as you can see at the top of the screen, looked like it. But the Titans pick up yardage to the 41. Third down and 3. Hackett will line up on the left side. Dickens back to throw. He's got Hackett and is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Kirkpatrick made the defensive play. And that is the price you pay when your quarterback is 5'9", and they may have measured him in his cleats. Hackett was wide open. Dickens had him, but Kirkpatrick, 6'2", standing in front of Dickens, 5'9".
Those big old defensive linemen from Brandon I think all of them are over 230, 225, or they're big.
Hackett, who did make the reception, now punts it away, and that ball came off the side of his foot. Shanked it.
Boy, I wish I'd have camera to seen that. Mike Chapman, the band director, caught the ball out on the track and started toward the goal line with it.
Somebody better tell him he wasn't receiving the punt. He was kicking. The ball goes out of bounds at the 27-yard line, and that might be a generous spot.
Baker 31, Belgrade nothing in the fourth quarter.
We just got the Baker score, third quarter, 31-0. The Gators from Baker, John Enser's crew, scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. By the way, that was a 14-yard punt for Hackett. Hopkins, did he lose the football? He did, and the Titans have, or did they recover? They did. Eddie Boyd recovered, but no signal from the officials yet. I'm not sure if they're going to blow that one dead. No, they say it's dead. They say Hopkins did not pop up the football.
I want to see that on a replay.
Well, I tell you, the officials, if they did not see the ball pop loose, they can't call it. And the ball's, well, there's a ball already on the ground, so you're right. He did fumble the football, and they just missed it. And the line judge on this side, Butch Crawford, just didn't see it. Nobody saw the ball pop loose, and if they don't see it, they can't make the call. So they missed one, but it was the right call to not make under the circumstances. Grant across the middle and incomplete, and he threw into a crowd, and he's going to get a flag. Throwing for Barry Hudson in a pass interference call. 8:54 to go, fourth quarter. So the penalty, they'll mark off 15 more, and that'll move it out to the... They'll step off the 15 yards from the 30-yard line, so that moves it out to the 45-yard line. So the Titans, who dominated the first 36 minutes of play, gave up a touchdown to Brandon on the first play of the fourth quarter. And if Brandon wasn't getting into this football game on their own, they're about to be legislated back into the game. First down from the 45, and Grant's back to throw. He's got time, all kinds of time. He waves his receiver downfield and then overthrows Boatwright. I'm not sure if he was waving Boatwright downfield or Hudson, who was farther downfield, but he had Boatwright and missed him.
Well, it's excellent coverage, Dan, by the defensive secondary coached by Michael Leary. Just excellent coverage. No one was really open.
Second and 10. Eagles with the ball. Mike Grant, number 1, going all the way.
Second down and 10 from the 45. They fake the reverse, and now they'll throw deep. And he's got Boatwright open. Boatwright makes the catch, and he's finally dragged down at the Woodham 16-yard line. Blakenship was there along with Anthony Thompson. Flag is down in the Brandon backfield.
Probably be against Brandon.
Holding penalty against Brandon. Mitch, can we re-rack that one a little earlier and see if we can pick up the hold, because the flag went down as the quarterback was rolling out. So the play to the Woodham 16 nullified. It was a 39-yard pass play, but the penalty's going to bring it back. Penalty will be marked off to the 35-yard line. There you see the holding penalty.
20 yards to go for the Eagles. 7-20. Holding was the call on that play. Timeout, Woodham.
Yeah, it looked like it was off the picture to the right, because I believe it was in the interior part of that line action. So the holding penalty moves it back to the 35. Grant is an impressive quarterback yet. Next week, the Titans, if this lead holds up and they have a 20-point lead with 8.5 minutes to go, and that is not a sure thing right now because this is an explosive team, but if the lead holds up, the Titans would play either Coral Gables or Bradenton Manatee, and Manatee was leading that game 13-0 at halftime, and that is the great rivalry that's never come off. It's almost like the Louisville-Kentucky basketball rivalry. There was a hot rivalry. They never played for 40 years until recently. Well, Manatee felt they were the best team in the state last year. They were upset by Lakeland in the second round. And Manatee state champions 2 years ago, and they felt they might have been the best team in the state in 1982 as well. And they've made no secret of their feelings.
I had someone from Braden tell me 3 years ago, I'll get to that later, Dan.
Second down at 20, and Grant's back to throw, and he sends everybody out. He throws across the middle. He's got his man Boatwright. Boatwright's got the first down at the Woodham 42-yard line. Tackle down there by Shannon Adams.
3 years ago, when Woodham won the state championship, Manatee was beaten. The week before they would have played Woodham, which I guess would have been the championship game. And someone from down there said, Jet, you all should really be lucky that you did not have to play Manatee. To me, that didn't make sense. Woodham whipped the team that whipped Manatee.
And wrapped up and dropped in the backfield is the fullback, and a flag goes down, and they may have a face mask. Nice defensive play. Keith Smith was there, 54, and as we mentioned, he's playing on that bad knee, and it is a face mask penalty against the Titans. 54, Keith Smith, playing on that bad knee, and they weren't sure he was going to be able to go, and then when he talked himself into the starting lineup, told the coaches he could play, they weren't sure how long he'd last, and he's been in there. He'll have to have arthroscopic surgery at the end of the season. So they made the big defensive play, but the personal foul face mask is going to mark the ball inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line, and Brandon is moving the football, but a lot of it's on the flag. 8:06 to go in the fourth quarter, and the Titans lead 27-7. And a touchdown here by Brandon, and we have ourselves a new football game. Back to throw, Grant. Grant looking for Boatwright. He's got him wide open. Boatwright dragged down by Shannon Adams and a number of other players. And I tell you, there's some hard hitting going on out there, but he has another first down inside the Woodham 15-yard line, and they'll stop the clock to move the chains. 7:50 to go.
Another first down for the Eagles. Pass went from Grant to number 42, Boatwright. Ball's inside the 15.
Boatwright with 5 catches tonight for 64 yards. Check that, 4 catches tonight. Grant is 6 out of 14. First down inside the 15, 2 wide receivers to the right side, and Grant's going to run the option to the right side. Grant tripped up into the 5-yard line. He's short of the first down. Blakenship on to stop.
Then I think watching the Brandon offense, and especially Grant, I believe that they could run the wishbone better than anything. I think that he would be a naturally great wishbone quarterback.
He got to the 5-yard line, 2nd down and 1. Again, 2 receivers to the right side. One of them is Tyner, 84. They run the option that way. Grant trying to get outside, and he stood up and knocked out of bounds by Anthony Thompson, 27. There you see the quarterback, Brandon's quarterback, Mike Grant. 6'2", 178 pounds. So he's already got good size for a sophomore. They marked it about the 4-yard line, so it's going to be, is he close to a first down? They're going to bring the chains in. The last 3 plays made by secondary people. And the 2 before this, Shannon Adams and Willie Blakenship. And you talk about your team leaders. After that, what the Titans considered a debacle against Tate. They won the district championship, but just barely, 29-28. They never really did stop Tate that night. After that game, they had 2 terrible practices. Monday and Tuesday were bad practices, and at the end of, or near the end of the Tuesday practice, both the seniors, is the first down. They do pick up the first down to the Brandon Eagles at the 4-yard line. Blankenship and Adams, the 2 senior safeties, basically threw the coaches off the field. They said, "Coaches, get out of here. We want to have a team meeting." And they proceeded to tell everyone like it is, I guess.
That's leadership. That is outstanding leadership.
And they've played well since. That defense especially. Grant fakes the handoff. No, he gives it off. Stacked up at the 3, and now the clock will continue to run. 6:49. Mosley, the ball carrier.
It'll be second goal, though. Stopped by number 86, John Kizziah.
Well, I see the quarterback club every Monday night. They come up to meet. They have a strong group of people supporting the Titan football program, and then the band boosters meet on Tuesday night, and those 2 groups are very cooperative to work with, and I enjoy working with them.
Pitch to the tailback, and the man who made the penetration is Adams. Now he's upset with himself because he didn't make the stop at the 10-yard line, but what he did was force the play in so that DuBose could make the play for a 2-yard loss back at the 5. Among other things, what this does, and Brandon takes the time out to stop the clock and talk about it, but what this has done is Brandon had the ball first down on the 4. They've taken 2 plays and have not moved the ball, and the clock has continued to run. So whereas they had just under 8 minutes to go a couple of plays ago, now there are 6 minutes to go in the football game, and you can't take 2 or 3 minutes to score from the 4-yard line when you're down by 20 points. Woodham has been dominant in this area in first 4A and now 5A football. They won their first district championship in Don Sharp's 2nd year. In 1981, they lost the regional playoff to Mosley. In 1982, they won the state championship. They were unbeaten that year, district champions, losing to Choctaw again in the regional in 83, state champions last year. And now they are district and regional champions again in 1985, and looking for a berth in that state championship game.
If they win tonight, I guess you could say they're North Florida's champions.
I would think so. Bradenton Manitou, we now learn, has won its football game. They beat Coral Gables, so the winner of tonight's game will play Bradenton Manitou.
What was the score?
Didn't catch that. Going for the end zone. Touchdown, and just arriving too late is Blakenship. Hudson makes the catch. Blakenship is waving it off, but he had no view of the play. He was trying to block it. And so the touchdown pass with 5:59 to go pulls Brandon to within 14 points. Hudson, a 5-yard pass from Grant.
Number 14, Scott Hudson. Kicking will be number 3.
Raymond attempting to tack on the extra point.
Kick is up.
And it's good. We've got ourselves a football game with 6 minutes to go. 5:59 to go. Fourth quarter, and the Titan lead now, which was once 27-0, is now 27-14.
Then while they set up, here's a replay on the...
You see Blakenship was waving it off. You'll also see he had no view of the play, and Hudson's sitting right there and clearly caught the ball a foot above the ground. Blankenship's waving it off. The moment of truth, his face was buried in the grass.
I think we need to thank the quarterback club again for their food upstairs. I don't know if you got any or not, but Walt Coggins and Jim Tallwater, members of the quarterback club, always take care of us there, and they gave our statistician some coffee and helped her feelings a little bit.
Well, I'd say we rely on our statistician too. 5:59 to go in the onside kick setup. They don't even have the ball teed off, so they push it down in front, and it's loose. And I believe Brandon's got it.
I think they got it.
Eddie Boyd was there. He missed the football.
Eagles recover the ball. Eagles take over now.
And Brandon has it at the 49-yard line. So here we go. I tell you, the crowd that was so quiet about a half an hour ago is now on its feet. And now the Titan defense, which has just given up a long drive for a touchdown, has to stay on the field.
Number 2, I believe, Johnny Hawkins.
There's a Brandon player down on the field.
Onside kick there was picked up off the ball on the 49-yard line.
Well, I believe it was behind that little pile up because Brandon has it on the Woodham 49-yard line. Welcome into our booth, P.J. Smith. P.J.'s up here making sure we don't second-guess the officials. We never do that unless P.J.'s on the field.
See P.J. every Friday night after the ball games. We'll go over to a little restaurant and have some crab claws or food. And Dan, you've been with us 2 or 3 times this year.
Never got over it.
We enjoy visiting with Jimmy Backus and all that.
And the player who was down was Johnny Hopkins, and he runs off the field under his own power, and that's a good sign for Brandon. He will go to the sideline. Of course, they had to stop the clock while they tended to him, so he had to go to the sideline for one play. Now they send 2 wide receivers to the left side. It's Hudson and Boatwright. And Grant has him up at the Woodham 49. Grant finds a hole on the left side, and O'Daniel misses the tackle, but Tony Thompson doesn't. Thompson trips him up. At the 44, there's a flag down.
Right, way back downfield.
They may have called this one on Anthony Thompson, so the Titans continue to self-destruct. Remember the last Brandon touchdown drive was helped along by a couple of penalties. And you also have to go back to that apparent fumble at the start of that drive that the Titans had clearly recovered, but the officials didn't see the ball pop loose, so they could not give the football to the Titans, and that kept the drive alive, and they turned it into 7 points. And now with 5:43 to go, this penalty is going to tack on another 15. Check that, it's going to be 10 yards to the 33.
That was holding in the defensive secondary.
So the Eagles at the 33. First down from the 33. Grant slips as he comes away from center, and he's waving that ball around, and he gets to about the 29. The man who is hanging on for dear life, number 44, Larry Brewer, inside linebacker. You know, there are 2 ways you hear crowds when they're at their most nervous. One is they are cheering very, very loudly. The other is that they're dead silent. I think you can hear a pin drop in the Titan stands right now.
Well, the momentum of the game has changed so badly. When you're leading 27-0, you feel like you have it won. You can't help but feel that way.
Grant back to throw. He's got his man across the middle, almost intercepted. It is intercepted by Blakenship. Blakenship to the 25-yard line. Brewer is the man who first got his hand on it, then Boatwright got a hand on it, and finally Blakenship, showing great reactions, comes up with a big play.
Good defensive secondary. Coach O'Leary's crew.
There you see Brewer, he makes the initial play, and then that's Hudson, not Boatwright. Blakenship picks off the pass and brings it back, and they come up with a big defensive play. Third interception thrown tonight by Grant. And with 4:47 to go, Reifsnider's in the game at quarterback. Sasser's out here one-on-one on Brian Jamison. I don't think you'll see him go to the air right now. Straight ahead. That's Tate. Ronald Tate. Straight ahead. And now the Titans, even without a first down, can run a minute and a half off the clock, which with 4:22 to go could be an awful big minute and a half.
6 yards to go for the Titans.
4:14 to go, signaling the play in. Pick up on the last play of about 4 yards, second down and a long 6. Hawkins in motion, Reifsnider straight ahead to Ronald Tate, and Tate's out to the 30-yard line. So he'll be 4 yards shy of a first down. It will set up a third down situation. 3:50 to go.
Number 68 on Woodham's team. I don't think he's playing very much right now. I don't even know what grade he's in or anything, but his name is David Kistner. And he's Coach Kistner, BJC baseball coach's son. And he's a big, strong, healthy lineman.
Third down and 4. Misdirection to Hawkins. He's tripped up very close to the first down marker. So this will be close. With 3:15 to go, if he's got the first down, the Titans will certainly be sitting pretty. But fourth down and less than a yard to go, he's short of the first down. And the punt unit comes on, and that's about the only decision to make.
No doubt about it. Just under 3 minutes left in the ball game. Woodham leads 27-14. And on their way to Bradenton Manatee next week.
Hackett has a 46 and a 44-yarder, also had a 14-yarder. This one he gets away to Boatwright, who bobbles it at the 32 and then falls on it. And that little bobble cost him at least 10 yards because it was a low kick and there's a flag down in the Titan backfield, and I'm not sure if they roughed the punter going forward or not.
Oh, we get a replay to see.